Hey, look, it's me, Tyler, plugged on. That's what I am right now. You clicked on this video. What I want to do here is kind of a review roundup, you could say, of 2016. I want to talk about, I have 10 albums here that I want to talk about that I unfortunately did not get to give a proper full review on. I just want to share some thoughts on them. Some of these might even make my top 20 end of the year list, so we'll see on that. And there's some other albums I listened to this year, but you know, these are the 10 that I want to focus on today. We reviewed a decent amount of albums in 2016. I definitely when you get to the end of the year in 2017, I would love to have this list be zero and to review everything that I want to and you know, really dive into, but life gets in the way sometimes, unfortunately. Excuse me. Also, before I dive in, album of the year, all our musical end of the year stuff is happening next week, starting December 19th, all the way through the week. We have a bunch of cool stuff planned. Then the following week, we're going to talk about movies and video games. So stay tuned. There's a lot of really cool shit coming out before the end of the year. So let's just dive into this. The first album I want to talk about is from the band DGM, entitled The Passage. You could say these guys are kind of progressive. They kind of have a power metal type feel to them as well. I just kind of got into these guys around the time this album came out because, you know, I was just checking out all the new music that's coming out on Friday, and I was like, DGM, I'll check these guys out. Why not? Listen to the song The Secret, and I was like, whoa, this is great. I really, really like this album, man. I think if you're a fan of Symphony X, there's no reason you should not listen to this. There's some major Symphony X vibes going on here. Especially with the vocalist Mark Basile, I believe, his voice is just phenomenal, and he just sounds fantastic. And The Secret Part 1 and 2, you know, Fallen is another really standout track. The title track is fantastic. And then there's just phenomenal guitar work and solos throughout, just fucking crushing riffs, lots of speed to it. It's great. You have Michael Romeo doing from Symphony X doing a guest guitar solo on here, which is awesome. You have Tom from Evergrey doing vocals on here as well with Ghost of Insanity, which just fits in so perfectly. It's great. I love this album. Check it out, man. DGM with The Passage. Next up, I want to talk about a rock band, because why not? Fairly new one. I want to talk about Crobot with Welcome to Fat City. I like Crobot. I think they're a fun, new and upcoming band in rock. I like the vibes that they put off. I love the grooves that they have. I love Brandon Yeagley's vocals. I love Chris Bishop's just fucking slamming sexy riffs sometimes. Kind of very bluesy inspired. It's great. There's some jams on here. You know, the title track is great. Hold On for Dear Life is another one. Not For Sale. Right Between the Eyes is probably one that just kind of punches you in the face. There's some hard-hitting songs on here. I do feel that both their first album and this one, some of the songs really do start to run together. So I think they can really expand. You know, there's lots of room to grow for this band in terms of you know, songwriting and all that stuff, but it's a good, fun album to listen to if you're a rock fan, so go check this out. Next album I want to talk about is a death metal album, kind of going in the opposite direction here. New album from the band Vader, entitled The Empire. I like Vader. I like their old school vibes that they put off. I love how it's, you know, they don't have, you know, slams really or anything like that. It's just straight up riffs, fucking brutal vocals, and speed the whole time. And I found this album to be pretty solid, but I found it to get a little repetitive for Vader. In Vader, just overall, they are who they are. You know what you're going to get with a Vader album. And this is kind of the same way with tracks like Angel of Steel, which is, fun to listen to. Tempest, Prayer to the God of War, No Gravity. There's some really heavy moments on here. I think Vader can create some very, very great moments when, it might just be some, a little bit slower palm muted guitar, but then a blast beat behind it. It's like, fuck yeah, this is great. This is fucking just death metal at its finest. I don't think this album is going to make my top 20. It's a nice honorable mention to me, because it's not a bad album, but it's not great. It's one I listened to a lot, and I just kind of went, I don't know if I'm going to review this, because honestly, it's Vader. You know what you're going to get. There's not much I need to say about it, but it's a fun album to listen to. Next up, this is an interesting album. And a couple of these I just recently did talk a little bit about in my CD update, which you can go check out. Next up is Korn with Serenity of Suffering. I'm not a Korn fan, really. I like some of their jams that are on the radio and all that stuff, but I wouldn't call myself a massive Korn fan. This is the only Korn album I own. Korn's always interested me, but I never actually really dove into them a lot. They are a very interesting and weird band. And they are a band that's unique, for sure. And the reason why I got into this album is just, it's kind of, people say this album is a lot more towards Korn's earlier career in terms of sound and songwriting than ever before. Or than recently, for sure. And I just listened to some of these songs like Rotting in Vain and Insane and Black as the Soul, and I'm like, damn, this is actually good, man. Like, I don't know, I listen to Black as the Soul or Insane, the guitar riffs just get stuck in my head. They're heavy, they're fucking low, they're gross sometimes. It's great. And then, you have A Different World with Corey Taylor on it. It's another great standout track. Jonathan Davis sounds great. He does some of those weird, goofy things with his voice that, Korn's in himself as a vocalist is kind of known for. It, as is the case in Rotting in Vain. It's good. I think everything is good in this album. From start to finish, you listen to it and you're just like jamming, you're bobbing your head, you're having a smile on your face, and then all of a sudden it's over and you're like, oh, well, that was fun. I just didn't expect to like this album as much as I did. So, honestly, if you're not a big Korn fan, but you're looking to get into them, this might be one of the more accessible Korn albums, to be honest with you. Check it out. The next two bands are kind of polar opposite in a way. They're just different sides of the spectrum. But they're not at the same time. I don't know. You guys might not know this band. This is In Mourning with their album Afterglow. Excuse me. In Mourning is a melodic death metal band. And their early career with stuff like The Weight of Oceans or Black Lodge or something, their first three albums are just special. They're a special band. They have big hooks vocally. They are very melodic and just have beautiful guitars with some just absolutely fucking crushing riffs. And their songwriting has always been through the roof. Colossus off of The Weight of Oceans is one of my favorite songs of all time. It's phenomenal. That album is my favorite In Mourning album. It's great. I love all three, but that one especially. That one's kind of has a special place in my heart. A lot of memories associated with that album. So I was very much looking forward to this album, and I think it's good. It's very good, actually. But it just, maybe my expectations were a little bit too high. It doesn't hit the same heights as I think their first three albums do. The production's slightly different as well. But man, does it have some great songs on there. Fire and Ocean will get stuck in your head all day. When that first guitar lead kind of comes in the beginning of the song, will get stuck in your head literally all day. And then the chorus is phenomenal. Ashen Crown's another one that's just beautiful. It showcases when In Mourning uses clean vocals. It's just beautiful. It's great. They use them so well. They use them sparingly, but they're really good when they do. The Lighthouse Keeper, the Call of Orion in the title track are other great tracks that really showcase, lots of good riffs, good melodies. But I think overall it just doesn't hit where I want it to hit. It's not as fully memorable as I feel their first 3 albums were, but it's still good. And I want this band to be bigger than they are. I would love if they toured over here in the United States. They deserve a lot more, in my opinion. So definitely go check out In Mourning. That's mourning as in I'm sad type of shit. Go check that out for sure. It's great. Next band is a really interesting band for sure. From Gothenburg, Sweden. That's Avatar with Feathers and Flesh. I knew about this band. I never really listened to them, and then I saw them live at Rock Allegiance 2016. I was like, damn, these guys are good. They have a lot of energy to them. I like their riffs. I like their guitar playing. Their vocals is good. They're interesting to watch. I'm going to just say fuck it, and I bought their album. I like this album a lot. It's kind of a hodgepodge of stuff, to be honest with you. You take House of the Eternal Hunt, which is a very much kind of a melodic death metal song, in my opinion. You have The Eagle Has Landed, which I can see being on radio stations. It's a little bit more poppier, catchier song. For the Swarm is less than 2 minutes long and just punches you in the face from the start. One More Hill is another one that stands out really good. This is a long album. It's 14 tracks long, but it's filled with so much interesting stuff. Every song is truly, 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 truly different. Pretty much. You just never know what you're going to get. One song, you could just get something that's more straightforward, rock-friendly. Then the next song's, melodic death metal song. Then the next song's just got weird guitar going on. The next song has just soaring, dual guitar solos. And it's like, damn. There's just a lot of stuff going on here. It's not very... But yet they somehow put it together in a way. It's not the most cohesive package in terms of, one singular sound, and we kind of explore that. It's a whole bunch of different stuff. I like this album. And I kind of like that Avatar's doing something different. You literally never know what you're going to get from them. Every song is just, it's totally different. It's cool. I like it. Check out Feathers and Flesh from Avatar. Let's see here. Those are the albums that I actually own. There's a couple others that I want to talk about. Starkill with their new album Shadow Sleep. Starkill, I feel, has been getting a little bit more popular. They've been on a lot of big tours recently. They toured with Creator and Arch Enemy, Nebula Viscaris. Just did a tour with Dark Tranquillity. They're getting up there. They're a melodic death metal band. They're from the States, which is pretty cool. Their first album, I like it. It doesn't blow me away, but I was they're an intriguing band to me. They got a lot of Children of Bodom vibes in them, but then some really interesting, cool sounding clean vocals. So I went into this album just being like, it'll probably be a little bit more of the same. Hopefully it'll be cool. But I'll be honest with you, I was completely blown away by this album. Just it's not my album of the year. And I don't even know if it's going to be in my top 20. But just the leap that I feel these guys have made in terms of songwriting and maturity is so much greater than their first album. Through the Darkness is probably one of my favorite songs of all time. Not all time, of the year. The beginning of that song vocally is just catchy as shit. I love it. I like the guitar work in that song a lot too. Another one that'll give you serious Dark Tranquillity vibes is Cloudless. And then, opening up with Walk Through Fire is awesome. Lots of... The vocally, I always felt, is where Starkill is probably the most interesting, but also kind of the weakest. And I feel that Parker and Tony have completely gotten better as at both scream vocals, and their cleans go a lot better. They're a lot catchier, all that stuff. Their new album with Shadow Sleep is solid. It kind of loses me towards the end, but I think its opening half is really good. So check that out. Another one I want to highlight is the band Exumer with their album The Raging Tides. This came out like January of this year. They're a thrash metal band from Germany. They were actually around in the late 80s, but then it kind of went away, and now they're back. They put out an album 2 years ago in 2014. The sound completely kicks ass, man. I think if you're a thrash band, if you're into like destruction for sure, I think, you know, this band could have really fit in with those Teutonic thrash bands very, very well. They have that type of sound. They have those type of vocals to them. And just in terms of their songwriting and riffage, it feels very much Destruction, Creator, Sodom-like, which is cool. I mean, the title track kicks ass. Brand of Evil is a really catchy song. Catatonic's another one. It's a solid album. I don't think it's, you know, I'm not into thrash, but I'm going to check this out. Oh, I love this. It might not be that. There's better thrash out there, but it's a good thrash album if you're a big thrash fan. So check that out. It's Exumer with their album The Raging Tides. Two more. This one I got to talk about, and I was honestly really going to review this one, but shit happens. It's unfortunate sometimes, to be honest with you. Giraffe Tongue Orchestra with their album The Broken Lines, or just Broken Lines, sorry. This band is a supergroup, you could call them. It has William Duvall from Alice in Chains. It has Brent Hines from Mastodon. It has Ben Weinman, I believe, from the Dillinger Escape Plan. It has ex-members, the bassist and drummer, I believe, are from Jane's Addiction and the Mars Volta, respectively. I thought this album was so much fun to listen to. And it was so cool. The coolest thing to me, and probably the biggest reason why people would check this out, is William Duvall not doing stuff with Alice in Chains and doing something different. And it was so cool to hear him doing something different. And to, you know, look, Alice in Chains is my favorite band of all time, okay? You know, they have their style. They have their ways. They can jam the fuck out, or they can be the most depressing band you have ever listened to. But this album was just fun. It was energy from the start. And then you had those great William Duvall moments vocally. You know, Blood Moon is one that really stands out to me. One of my favorite tracks on this album is Everybody Gets What They Really Want. That's a really fun song to listen to. It's a shame on me for not reviewing this or owning this album right now. I really should change that, because it's great, and it's cool to see these guys come together, do different stuff. I know the members of Mastodon do different side projects all the time. It's really cool that they do that, but especially hearing Ben write stuff that isn't crazy shit that's in the Dillinger Escape Plan. You know, just something that's more rock, more energy to it. You know, a little bit more simple, but it's also kind of got its weirdness at the same time. I like this album a lot. Giraffe Tongue Orchestra with Broken Lines. Check it out, man. If you're a fan of any of those bands, you might be kind of like, whoa! Didn't know that. Last album I want to talk about here today is Sonata Arctica with their album The Ninth Hour. Sonata Arctica is a power metal band that's been going for a very long time. They are definitely unique. They have their own style for sure. I'm a huge power metal fan, and you would think, why do you not like Sonata Arctica? And I sit here and tell you, I don't know. I don't know. I've listened to so many of their albums. I listened to this album at least 4 times. And I'm like, I just can't get behind it. Something just doesn't get me going. It's not that their hooks aren't there. It's not that it's not cheesy. It's not the riffs. Their stuff is musically fine. It's just something doesn't get my blood flowing with this band. But there are some solid songs on this album. Closer to an Animal, it is such an awesome chorus to it. I love the chorus of that song. The song Life has some excellent lyrics to it. We Are What We Are is another really standout song. This band's good. They have some solid riffs. I love how they really make everything blend together pretty beautifully. It's just something about it just doesn't get me going. But I think this album's not bad, for sure. And if you're a Sonata Arctica fan, I think you could really enjoy it. And when it comes to potentially some of the coolest album art of 2016, this album absolutely is in the conversation to me. Just saying, I love the album art for this album. Even though I'm not a big fan, I want a big fucking poster of this album art. It's beautiful. So yeah, that's it. 2016, it's in the books. Those are some albums I just wanted to highlight here. Like I said, all our cool music stuff's coming up this week. Movies and video games the week after. And we're very much looking forward to 2017. We have a lot of cool ideas. We're excited. So yeah, hopefully you are too. Let's end 2016 on a high note. So thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on any of these albums or any other highlights from 2016 that I might have missed that I should check out. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.